This is the loneliest animal on Earth. His name is Jorge the Loner, and he lives here on the Galapagos Islands. The reason for his nickname is that all others of his species have died. He is the only one left. Jorge is an example of the importance for all living beings of relations with others. Since the beginning of life in the sea, adaptation has taught animals to establish relationships with other beings. Over millions of years, driven by the idea that united we stand, many complex associations have been formed. No one on the planet wants to be forever alone, and all animals surround themselves with more or less complex social structures to increase the chances of survival. The great herds of herbivores start by searching for food together while they defend themselves from predators. But relations become more complex when it is necessary to establish a hierarchy and rules governing communal life. In addition, these bonds are further complicated by sexual reproduction, which implies the need to form couples and take care of the offspring. And this makes it both more possible and more necessary to develop social intelligence. Groups become more complex in order to defend themselves, but also to attack. Many fangs together can bring down larger prey, but that makes it necessary to be organized, to communicate, recognize each other, and share the meat. And conflicts need to be resolved as far as possible without killing each other. Our life depends on it. The human mind has created bonds even beyond the real world, seeking to communicate with superior beings who can help us explain the thousands of questions posed by our enormous brains. It is these relationships that have enabled mankind to colonize the entire Earth, turning hominization into humanization, and making the biological, cultural, and environmental aspects inseparable. But let's start at the beginning. This is an albatross. Since it was born, it has spent 7 years flying and fishing out on the ocean. And now it feeds the irresistible urge to return to this island called Hispaniola, on which it came into the world. It needs to find a lifelong mate, a bond which may last for 50 years, so it's important to make the right choice. The males arrive first and wait. When they meet, a complex ritual begins, their way of demonstrating a commitment to sharing their genes till death do us part. Though it looks that way, this is not a combat between rivals, but rather the courtship of animals with inexpressive faces who have to communicate through body gestures. Shortly afterwards, the grooming behavior consolidates the fundamental and simplest bond between living beings, the couple.